You didn't cut the light on. Hello, everyone. We are live and we are a little bit tardy, so please forgive us. Woo, there's the lights and there was light. Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. We are here and we are live. My name is Renee, and my amazing husband's name is Gil, and we are Renee and Gil of the RICH Relationship Refuge. And you don't have to adjust your camera. Yes, I let my hair grow, and so I'm doing something different. So it's not, I didn't get struck by lightning or anything.
What's going on, y'all? We appreciate you guys hanging out with us
Thank
on this
you.
awesome Saturday. Y'all had us one with Renee and one with me.
And
but
then
we're
last
back
week
together.
in the car.
Oh, were we in the car?
Yeah, last week we were in the car. So if you saw us in the car, put it in the comments what you guys thought about that episode. The episode that we did in the car was about, you remember?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
The week just go by as a blur. You know,
Okay.
when we are doing,
Well-
between all the stuff we got going, it's. I'm being honest.
We had a
We
book-
always say be transparent, so I'm being transparent.
He's being hot. We actually had a book signing at Barnes & Noble.
I remember that.
And our episode last week was about safe places, creating spaces for our singles, because someone in our community said that there are no safe spaces for singles. So if you're single or if you're married and you're looking for a safe space to grow and learn and to thrive, you have found the right place.
You know, one thing that I notice is we get more traction, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I notice a lot of people watch the shorts. Renee does an amazing job of creating the shorts. And when we go live, we do this because we made a commitment that we want to not just engage and talk about the stuff, all things related to relationships and marriage, but we also want to meet you guys and just see what you got to say and see what you want to chime in on, and based on whatever the topic we have, based on past videos, based on a lot of different things.
All of the above.
All the above, all the things, as they say. So that's why we do the lives. And I noticed that more people watch it. I don't know if it's because of the timing. Sometimes it's a lot. Sometimes it's a little. Is it the topic? Is it the setting? Whatever it is, put it in the chat.
Yeah,
What
let
is
us
it
know.
that you want to see or hear? Do you want other people? Do you want us to interview some people? Because we've done it all.
We can do that.
We've done it all in the past, and we are more than willing to bring it back. But we have to know, what is it that you guys want us to either talk about, present, or even bring up? Or even when we always say it here, we've said it in the past, if there's a topic that you want us to discuss, bring it up.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat, put it in the comments, send us an email, whatever it is, and we will actually bring it up. Now, the topic that we're talking about today, Renee asked me about this today, and I was like, oh boy. Because I felt like, I don't know if it was feeling like I was on the spot and I'm speaking for all the guys, or if it was going to be, I'll just let the Holy Spirit guide this conversation and we'll take it from there. Y'all know we always like having something to measure against. And the best thing that you can measure anything with, as far as a person and in life and in relationships and all that, from our perspective, is the Bible.
Yes, it is the authority in which we find our identity, our value, and how we live our life. And so this is just from our perspective, from a biblical perspective. And the episode is called What Men Want. And what I thought was really, when I was coming up with the title, I was like, okay, Lord, what? And when I was writing What Men Want, I thought it should have been not just what men want, what men don't need. And sometimes what men want is maybe what they want is not what they need. Especially because we live in a society where what we're being shown is not necessarily
What you need.
what we consider marriage material.
And I think even guys, you have to think about, in society will show you all these different images, and that's their interpretation of what men's desires are. I would like to say that we are more than just our libido and our drive for sex.
Yes.
Contrary to what we believe, I know that's a strong,
told.
that's a strong drive, but it is not the only drive. We are looking for many, many things in the capacity of relationships. So when we talk about it, this things or the items that we're going to talk about, as far as this is just from my perspective, from a biblical perspective, and we're using Proverbs 31. I think that's a good measuring stick as far as Guys, if you have no idea what you're really looking for when it comes to your significant other, your spouse, your wife, your future wife, your girlfriend, these are things that you can start looking at now. We wrote it in the book. As you can see in the background there, there's books behind us right up in there that we had one list in there was called the red flags. Well, we have red flags, but we also want to bring you things to look for, not just things to be on guard for, but things to look for when you are courting or you're talking. What does that mean?
Oh, you just turned it that way, so now it's like I have to
Okay.
squeeze in. That's good. Oh no.
So
not that far. Okay, that's good.
So when we talk about these things today, and we have on both sides of the street, it's not just what men want, it's also
We're gonna do
things
women next.
what women, well, if you want to say what women want, we'll do that next. So
Yes.
and I'll let Renee elaborate on some of the things as I bring them up, just from her perspective, and she can ask me questions or whatever, and we'll go from there. So if you have a question or comment, or even something you want to put up as it
it in the chat.
relates to the topic or the particular breakdown of what we're talking about as far as what men want, this list, that put it in the chat, but we're not talking about it. This is in no particular order. These are just things that I wrote down right quick, and I have it on my whiteboard just so I can see it, and I'll bring it up and we'll talk about it. It's not in any particular order, but it is using Proverbs 31 as a guideline, because this is biblically speaking. I thought I knew, story time. I thought I knew what I wanted in a girl when I was younger. Let's just say between the ages of 18 and, because we got married at 21. So let's go back a little bit farther, between the ages of, let's say, 16 and 20. Well, 16 and, yes, I would say 20, because me and Renee hadn't gotten married yet. But still, I looked at it and I did not have a clue to what I wanted, to be totally honest with you. Mm-hmm. All I knew is I wanted a girl with a butt, some breasts, the physical attributes that we looked for, because that's all I had as a reference. Yes, I had my mom to look at some of the other things, but who knows, when you are a young, thriving young man, hormonal, raging, all the things, you are looking for certain needs to be satisfied. And we're believers and followers of Christ now, so that's not something that you should entertain. As far as if you're single, as far as sex out of marriage and things like that, that's my perspective now. I'm not going to say I'm a holier than thou, because I did have sex before marriage. And if I had it to do all over again, knowing what I know now, I would rewind the clock and I would wait. So the first thing, and thumbs up. Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate you chiming in. I would say trustworthy. I want my wife and Renee or girlfriend to be trustworthy. When I say trustworthy, I'm talking about men want peace more than we want anything else. I would even say, even as we're younger, sometimes we are the cause of drama because we play games. If you're dating a lot of other girls and you're doing a lot of other things, that's just the byproduct of it. You're going to have drama. Knowing what I know now, I was always...
You have drama if what? You date too many people at one time?
Yes. If you date more than 2, 3, or whatever, it's a difference. We talk about it in the book between dating and going out.
Right.
When we say dating means a commitment that I've made to this person. I don't know what the kids call it now. We're exclusive, we're one-on-one, whatever you want to call it now. Please help us. What is the term now for being exclusive? Right. Or, because I hear younger people saying we're dating. And I'm still kind of a little baffled by when you say dating.
Hooking up.
Yeah.
Or going out.
I know what hooking up means, or we called it Netflix and chill,
or friends with benefits.
Back in my day, we called it straight up a booty call.
Yeah.
That's just what it was called.
Yeah.
You know, you just had a person that you had friends with benefits with, that you just used each other for sexual gratification. But guess what?
Would you marry that person, though?
Probably not. You wasn't thinking about marriage. You were thinking about getting your needs satisfied.
Right.
So when I say that, I'm talking about the drama and the being dependable and reliable.
So why is it drama when you're like sleeping with a lot of different people?
Because you can't keep it straight. One, you can't keep it straight because you don't know, what did I tell this person versus that person? What did I do to be sexually satisfied with this person versus that person, it gets confusing. It gets to the point where you're going to get caught. And when you get caught, it's going to be a problem for you.
Yeah. And the other person, like you talked about, because Gil said he wants the wife and the woman he decided to marry to be trustworthy. But guess what? You have to be trustworthy in order to find someone that is trustworthy. And I think sometimes we don't think about that. We want things that we don't give. And then when we get what we've been giving, we get upset.
I love the way the Amplified version puts it in verse 11 of Proverbs 31. It says, the heart of her husband trusts her with secure confidences. That means I can bring something to Renee and I know it's not going to go any further. Mm-hmm. And it's great if you have that same level of trustworthiness with the person that you're dating or the person that you're married with. Yeah. That I can come to her and know that there's not going to be 5, 6, 7 other people who know what's going on with me. If I know I can't bring her things that are close to my heart and things that are going on with me, then I won't.
Yeah, and when you're in the dating stage, you have to test that. You have to test it with small things.
Oh yeah.
You have to test, because I think about something like with Gil and I, we share our finances as
boyfriend girlfriend.
We weren't engaged. Mm-hmm. We were just boyfriend girlfriend. We were just dating exclusively. And so, can you trust this person with money? Can you trust this person with your heart? Can you trust this person with the people that you love and care about? Because sometimes the trust is more than just a physical, because again, you got a mind, a body, and a spirit. Can you trust that their spiritual integrity is what they say it is? And so those are the kind of things with trust is none of these things mm-hmm. we're talking about is just one dimensional. It's going to always be a physical, emotional, and a spiritual element of what each of these things look like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that since you brought that one up in verse 17, you said this, I didn't know I needed this at the time when we were dating, but as I've grown with my relationship with Renee, even over these 30, almost 40 years, that I realized how valuable it is. It is a strong emotional and spiritual connection. Mm-hmm. Emotional and spiritual, not just physical. In verse 17, same verse, it says, she equips herself with strength, which is spiritual, mental, and physical fitness for her God-given task. What that says to me is that there's a level of effort and energy that Renee is working on individually on her own that I am going to be looking for. The Bible also says, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. That means she is a wife before she became my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I paused there for emphasis. She was a wife before I gave her a ring. That tells you that there are things and attributes and character things and the things that we're talking about today that she should already possess. There's going to always be a time of development that all of us are going through individually and in relationships. But when she has not developed the things that I'm talking about today, that is a time for you to work together on getting better. When people say, well, I'm working on that. Well, what are you actually doing to work on that? We're talking about the spiritual, the emotional, the mental side of you being a wife.
And practically, what does that look like? I spend time with God on my own. Mm-hmm. I prioritize serving others on my own. I have my own values and boundaries and principles that I live by, not because I was in a relationship with Gil, but those mm-hmm. as a woman, you have to have, and even though I wasn't saved when we got married, when we were dating, I still had values, I had boundaries, I had deal breakers. And so a part of it, you have to establish all those things as an individual before you get into a relationship. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times the problem is we don't set the most important thing when it comes to what he wants and what she wants is that the one thing you should want is for that person to have a relationship with God.
First. Yep.
Number one. That's not negotiable.
That's what we believe. We just telling you it works.
Yeah, because if you look at the couples who thrive and don't just coexist, they have a shared faith.
Absolutely.
And so,
So going on in verse, I love this one in verse number 12, it says she comforts, encourages, and does him only good and not evil all the days of her life. What does that look like in real world 21st century speak? Emotionally value, peace, and insight. She has that. She's possessing that. She is actually bringing that to the relationship already. If she's bringing that already, like she said, she encourages him. If you find yourself in a position with your dating other, your significant other, your boyfriend, girlfriend, and fiance, and you are constantly at friction, you're constantly having difficulty and challenges that keep coming up over and over and over again,
all the time.
that is something that you have to be aware of from the emotional aspect.
And we're not saying that you shouldn't disagree. We're not saying you should not have heated fellowship. What we're saying is if 90% of your relationship is you're in heated fellowship or you're in constant conflict, it means you're probably not aligned.
Somewhere.
You know, if there's going to be areas where you're not aligned, but if you're not aligned in any areas, that is a real big indicator that this may not be the person for you. Because again, what Gil talked about, men wanting peace, and I know that that's true. Most men are very simple in regards to what they want, and peace is a big part of that. And so that's the thing you have to think about. It's like, well, when you talk about what do men want, it's not just physical. It's not just visual and physical.
Right.
Because I think sometimes we minimize men to being animals, and
animal or being led by their animal instincts of just drive for sex. And it's not just that.
And even as men mature and grow, they realize, because we always talk about living your life with fewer regrets. The only way you're going to live your life with fewer regrets is if you come up with some guidelines for how you live your life that won't lead to you having regrets. Right.
I love this one. And this is one that she had been doing all the while, even before we became husband and wife. She's hardworking and focused. The way Proverbs said it. Now, this is way back when. She looks for wool and flax and works with willingly hands and delight. That means she is doing something. She got a job. She's working on something. She's working on goals, ambition, businesses, whatever it is. She is a hard worker. That means if she's just hanging out at home, sitting around waiting for Prince Charming to come and sweep her up off the couch.
This is not Disney, y'all.
I'll say this. When as a young guy, when I was looking and dating and trying to get with someone, I was actually looking at that like, what does she do or what is she doing? I always say it like this. You don't need help to do nothing. If you're not doing anything productive to yourself, the people around you, the people you care about, society as a whole, you don't need help to do nothing. Yeah. I'm not looking for that because one thing that I told Renee when we were getting married was, I want you to be able to work because you want to, not because you have to. That is something that I'm going to take care of from day one. Y'all, I was 18 and broke. Didn't have much. Well, but I won't say I was broke. I've always had a job since I was 8. When I say that, I'm not joking. I was working on a juice truck at 8 years old in Detroit, running juice jars to porches and changing out money. I was counting cash. I was working. Because I knew that was something that I knew I wanted stuff. I knew I wanted some things. I wanted some Hot Wheels. I wanted to go to the corner store and get a Faygo Red Pop.
And some better made potato chips.
And my mom was like, you better go get a job then. Because we only have so much to go around. So I said, you know what? I seen a guy across the street. I just happened to be friends with him. And I went up to him. I said, hey, I want a job. And he was like, what? I'm supposed to be out there playing with my Hot Wheels on the curb. I'm looking to get paid, man. I'm looking for some work. Not the kind of work that I could have got involved with very easily in Detroit on the east side. I didn't want to go to jail either. At 8 years old, I probably wouldn't have got caught. But anyway, that's another conversation. But that was something that I wanted to do. So therefore, I was looking for the same type of character trait in my partner that I want to do life with. That hard work is, yes, you want to be looking for that. What is she doing? What is she working towards? What are her goals? What are
What
her
her dreams.
aspirations? What are her dreams? These are all conversations to be having that you can help and partner with her to help her achieve. The Bible calls my wife a helpmate, but that's a two-way street.
Yeah.
That's a two-way street. I'm supposed to be helping her and leading her in accomplishing the things that she wants to accomplish, just as well as she's helping me accomplish the things that the Lord has put on my heart, in my heart, as a passion for my life, for our lives together. So go ahead.
So I want to go back to him saying that he wanted me to work because I wanted to work. That's not what Gil told me. Gil didn't want me to work. Gil was like, it's my responsibility to take care of you, and you don't have to work. It's my responsibility. I'm the man, I'm the husband, it's my job. And I said, I love you and I appreciate that, but that's not the way I was raised. It's my job to help you. I should not come to a marriage expecting for someone to take care of me. I didn't get married to have someone take care of me. I got married because I knew that together we could do more together than we could do apart. And something else, because we live in a society where everybody is meeting online. And so how do you really vet that who this person is on the screen is who they are in real life? And it's through asking real questions. And one of the things I always say, when your actions and your words don't line up, one of them is lying. So someone could tell you that they're hardworking. Someone can tell you that all these things, but you got to watch and you got to listen and you got to pay attention, because even when it comes to, this is for free. When you look at people's social media, look at what's in their content, not just the post. Go to their page and look at their content. Look at what they're posting. Look at if all of their pictures are just with them. If their pictures are just that, you don't see them serving, you don't see them in relationships, you don't see them encouraging. Those things give you a snapshot of who they are. And so while it's not all of who they are, it gives you an idea. And so those are the kind of things that we have to be wise about, is vetting that what people say they are is who they really are.
Okay, going on. She is resourceful and wise with money. Yes, I said money. That is one of the number one topics that people will break up over when it comes to their relationship. I got mine, you got yours, which is true. But I love the way Proverbs puts it in verse 16. It says, she considers the field before she buys or accepts it, and expanding her business prudently. That means she is business savvy, y'all. That means she is looking for things, for business opportunities. Even though we're talking from a married woman's perspective, that means I'm earning the money, bringing it into the household. She is the manager of the household. The household is everything that I have worked for to bring to her to manage. Because Lord knows, when I come home, I'm tired and I need a nap. I'll just give you what I need. I'll go out and do what I got to do out in the real world, but I'll bring it home and say, you know what? It's your job to manage the household resourcefully, like the Bible says, like Proverbs 31 says in verse 16. And I love the way verse 24 adds on to it. It says, she makes fine garments and sells them and supplies sashes and merchants. So now she's not only buying fields and property, she's actually had goods and services, goods and clothes, y'all. She's got a store. She got a boutique. She's selling stuff and managing a household and have a real estate venture going. So that is something that a guy will look for. While the Bible uses those three as examples, that just means she is resourceful and wise with money. Renee mentioned why did I give her access to the money that I was earning? Because I seen that already. I knew I could trust her. Number one, she was trustworthy. I also, number two, she was hardworking herself because she had her own. Why she said that, like, about me telling her she ain't got to work, part of it was that independence. I wasn't trying to take her independence and make her, as they say, barefoot and pregnant, that kind of thing. She knew, because the way she was raised, you better have your own and you better get your own. Don't wait for no guy to take care of you. Well, while I appreciated that attribute about her, I also knew that it was my responsibility to take care of her. But she also was resourceful and wise with money. You want to say something on that?
And I think a part of it is understanding that the difference between, because Gil said it, he defines a wife finds a good thing. A wife, even when you're not married, is going to multiply what she has. And a girlfriend sometimes is just going to consume it and spend it. So when you look at how do you use money? How do you prioritize? Do you prioritize investing and saving and increasing? Are you trying to make what you have spread? Or are you consuming every single little penny on all of the frivolous things? Because part of being young is, when you're young, you wear it, you drive it, you carry it, you live in it, and then as you mature, you begin to realize we got to
I
save
want to
and
invest
invest.
in others, invest in,
Yes.
and that's actually getting to the next one, that she is kind and generous to other people. Proverbs also talks about in verse 20, like we said, she opens and extends her hands to the poor and reaches out and fills the hands of the needy. That
Watch
means,
how people treat people that are serving them.
so that tells me that she is not just looking out for herself. I can testify 100% in the 21st century, the blue truck comes to my house, and 9 times out of 10 is going to be for somebody else. She may buy a couple things here and there for herself, but she is buying stuff for people that we help out and things like that for them. While I may go to work and earn things, and Renee earns as well, she's looking out for people who have less than what we have, that need, and that will have a little bit of more of a struggle to get the things that they need based on their resources that they have. So if we have more, we're going to share that with others because we realize it's not ours anyway.
Yeah,
We're just stewards. God is putting it in our trust for the management and the generosity and the needs of others. While you may be able to benefit and get you a couple little nice things, you have your vices, you have your things, whatever that may be, get it. God doesn't care about it. But if you're spending more on yourself than you are on other people, you may want to reprioritize. So that's something that I was looking for, didn't know it, that she was generous, not just with her time, effort, and energy. She actually looks out for other people. Comment?
I think in perspective, what Gil's saying as far as doing more for other people than you do for yourself, I think that you have to prioritize the kingdom, yourself and others, because the Bible says love your neighbor as you love yourself. You have to love yourself. And sometimes because people are generous, they give to a fault.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn how to, and I love when Gil, he helped me with that. Give to people who need, don't help people who are not doing nothing, but also give to people who are helping people. Because a lot of times we give to people who have a need, and guess what? They're going to always have a need. And so it's learning how to give to people who help people, but also to give to people can't pay you back without expecting that. That's what true generosity is.
And that's so important, and I appreciate that about her. And I didn't realize that I was looking for her, because when you're younger, you're always looking at, we're going to build our empire, our kingdom, our this and our that. Well, that's only part of the equation. After a while, you only can have so much stuff. You only can have so many pairs of sneakers, so many clothes, so many purses, so many hats, so many cars, so much stuff, to where you're going to get exhausted and you're going to start realizing it's not just about the stuff, because regardless of how many of the things you have, you only can use and wear one at a time, regardless.
And I think some of the things we're sharing is because sometimes people think that, well, if I get this, I'll be happy. If I get that, I'll be happy. Well, if they do this, and you're constantly trying to make adjustments to your physical and never really dealing with the fact that God created us for more than just consuming. He created us to create. And so in this list of what men want, it's also as women being aware of what men want and not allowing the media and the culture to tell you that all he wants is somebody that's cute. All he wants is somebody who has a nice body. That's only a very small part of it, because beauty fades, bodies change. And so you want to make sure you bring more to the table than just what you look like.
Yep. So if you're just joining us, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us and on this episode of the Rich Relationship Saturday live at noon. Renee and I, we're talking about, what do men want?
What do they want?
What do they want in their relationship?
What you want? What you want?
And if you have resonated with some of the things that I've already listed, by all means, throw in your list in the comments. What is it that you're looking for in a woman? For your partner for life, your significant other, whether it's a girlfriend at the time that moves to a fiance, that moves to a wife. What is it that you're looking for? And if it's not something that I've already mentioned, I got about 4 more things to actually bring up that you can actually put it in the chat, put it in the comment, and we'll talk about it, because next week, Renee is going to do her list
Of
for the
what
women.
men want, what men
what
want,
women
what
want.
women want.
What women want in there. So moving on. Wise speaking with love. Proverbs put it this way in verse 26. She opens her mouth and skillful and godly wisdom, and teaches the kindness of is on her tongue, and gives counsel and instruction. Sometimes you have to have experiences in order to get wise. That's how you get wisdom, is to go through some things. When Renee shares, and I listen to her all the time.
Say that again, baby. Say that part again.
Which one?
In order to get wisdom, you got to do what?
You got to go through experiences. Once you go through those experiences, you either gonna.
So it means you got to fail.
Sometimes you fail and sometimes you're successful. The point is to be able to identify which one you actually did and be able to repeat it over and over again and then share it with someone else. When you have that, then you have true wisdom about something. A lot of people have opinions. A lot of people have ideas.
They have
but
knowledge.
they have a knowledge problem. But what they really have is an application problem. What is different to
They don't have a knowledge problem.
Right.
They have an application problem.
Our heads are cluttered with a bunch of information, but we have not applied that same information to our own selves, but we are quick to give it out to others. And especially in this one, I'm looking for someone, my wife speaks with wisdom and love first, based on her experiences, to share it so it benefits somebody else, not just her opinion.
So let's go to, this is now.
In the 21st century.
When we first got married, I was probably Delilah, Jezebel, Potiphar's wife. I've been all those women.
Explain some of those attributes to those who may not know who those women with the funny names are.
So Delilah was deceptive. She was the
manipulative.
She was a manipulative. She tried to make Samson. She tricked Samson into telling her where his strength came from, so that she could gain it for someone else. Jezebel, we all know who Jezebel was. She was promiscuous, and she was
probably had some manipulation going on.
Sexual manipulation. And then Potiphar's wife, she was deceptive and dishonest. And so at some stage in our life, all of these women are going to play a role, but we have to make a decision that the goal, because I remember the first time I learned about Proverbs 31, I said, Lord, I'm going to be a Proverbs 31 woman. Woo. He said, could you start with number 1? Could you start with Proverbs number 1? Have you ever even read Proverbs? So I encourage you, if you've not read Proverbs, read it. It's a great wisdom heart check.
Yep.
It's a great thing to compare yourself to. If you want to find the great goals, Proverbs 31 is a goal for all of us as women, whether you are married or single.
Proverbs 31.
Proverbs 31 is a great place, and it's never going to go out of style. It's going to always be trending, and it's going to always be relevant because it's helping you to focus on your character.
Next one. She's the manager of the household. The Bible talks about it being the manager of the household. In verse 27, she looks well to how things go in her house. While me as the man, I'm the overall authority and responsible for what goes on in our house. To be honest, I'm always at work. Renee is at home a lot more. Even when the kids were in the house, she was there with the kids a lot more than I was. So she was managing a lot of the things. So when I came home, if I had to regulate, I had to regulate. But most of the time, she handled things and brought things to my attention that either she had already taken care of or that I need to take care of because either time, effort, energy, or whatever the case may be, I need to come in and clean and do and fix and repair and restore and do all the things that is my responsibility overall for our household. But she was the overall manager of it. Go ahead.
So what does that look like? That means I know how to budget. I know how to plan. I know how to prioritize. I know how to protect Gil, so that when he does come home, I didn't let the kids just overwhelm him because, you need that time to kind of, so a part of managing.
At least I do.
Yeah. And most men probably do. And so something else that a man needs is a protector. They need someone to protect their
have
peace,
their back. Yeah.
Manage. And
you said it. Protect that peace. Protect his peace.
Yes.
Are you protecting his peace? Mm-hmm. You know what stresses him out. You know what gets him all angst up and anxiety and all that. Look for that. How can I be that refuge and that hedge around my husband in the sense of I want somebody to have my back. Out here in the real world, ladies, no one has our back. And it's not just a cultural thing. It's men.
Period.
We have it challenging.
The enemy is attacking all men, but he is especially attacking men of color.
Yeah. So we already have it challenging enough out here in, as they say, in these streets. And I'm doing a honorable job in those things. I ain't talking about on the lawless side. I'm talking about out doing what I'm supposed to be doing, trying to provide. And it's tough and it's challenging. And then when I come home, I need to have a refuge. And if I don't have that refuge, that's why we as men end up at the bar with these other hobbies. I go to the gym and I don't want to spend time at home. If you start having those thoughts of, I ain't trying to go home because I know what I got when I get there. One thing I can say in our life, I love coming home because I know what I'm going to receive. Renee is going to be there to receive me. She's going to be there to, and we just woke up and just left. I just went and did 8-10 hours or whatever. And I come home and it's just like, hey, and I appreciate that because it sets the tone. And I'm happy to see you, but it also sets the tone for the managing that falls under the management of the household. And then number 9, believe it or not, we gave you 9 already. Number 10, manages on the inside first. What does that mean? In verse 30,
you my priority. Jesus and you my priority.
Her charm and grace are deceptive and superficial, but beauty is vain. But the women who fears the Lord, reverence and worshiping and obeying, serving him, trusting him with all, shall be praised.
So I love God with all my whole heart. And because I love God, I can love him.
Exactly. So when she is working on her relationship with God first, then she can be all the other 8 things that I've already given you prior to this one right here. And we save the best for last, as they say, because that is even more important than all the other 8. You can't do the other 8 preceding without having that own genuine, authentic relationship with God, because he's going to empower you and help you achieve and become or even expand on other 8, evolve on the other 8 of the ones that I've gave you: trustworthy, emotionally valuable, hardworking, resourceful, strong emotionally, physically, mentally, kind and generous, and she speaks with love, and she manages her house. Those are all the things that are preceding this one. And then the last one, and because of that, in verse 28, or actually verse 31, she gives her the products of her hand and lets her own work speaks praises for her at the gates, and honors because of her character, who she is. She has a reputation for being a Proverbs 31 because she has done and accomplished all the things prior. So to summarize, what do men want? I just gave you a list. I didn't even know I wanted it or even already had it. I even told Renee this morning as I was just kind of preparing and to talk about these things today, I was like, you know what? You're a Proverb 31 woman. Did that happen overnight?
No. It's taken years.
But it's a journey. Mm-hmm. So, ladies, that's what guys want. I'm not saying this is an all-inclusive list.
That's what guys need. Mm-hmm. They don't know they want it yet. But when they get what they need, they'll realize, oh, you know what? That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're looking at the external, and we laugh about this. People look at me, you don't want none of this. I am a lot. I am a mess. But you see the external, but you don't know all the things that go along with it.
They see the completed.
Yeah, you don't see
they didn't see what it took to get here.
And all the things I had to go through.
In the beginning, she was a Proverbs 31 verses 1, 2, 3. She still had to work on 3 and 4. You know, it took about 15 to 20 years to get to like 7, 8, 9. And, you know, and we say that jokingly, but she is a Proverbs 31 woman in my eyes. You know, for those of you who know her and have been in her presence and see those, I guarantee you can see those attributes being shown in your interactions with her. You know, sometimes it's a little rough around the edges. I'll be honest with you. But
my communication
style. The whole part of it is still going to come from her relationship with God and to do well by others for their benefit. So
what men want? What do they want?
I just told you, man. I'm tired. And I would say, and jokingly, in seriousness, peace.
Yeah.
More than anything else. If your wife and your girlfriend can manifest those things, ladies, if you can manifest those, peace is what's going to be reigning inside of him. And that is what he's going to pursue with all diligence to hold on to that. If you are using all those things that we just described here in this past almost 50 minutes or 45 minutes of just talking to you guys, that is what is going to get that guy. I guarantee it. I know guys
You
who
mean
are
it's not the way I cook?
That's a bonus.
You mean it's not our sex life?
That's the cherry on top. That's gravy. That's awesome. I mean, it's important.
You mean it's not our friendship?
That's vital to the health of our relationship.
You mean it's not the fact that I'm the mother of your child?
That's a bonus again.
That's
And
the
she even
legacy.
called while we were talking. So,
Yeah.
So those are all the things that
So we don't want to make, you got to major in the, we major in the minors.
yes.
While all those things that I just mentioned are important, the most important thing and the thing that I could say that I know, and I know if you talk to most men, let us know if you're watching this now, but what is if you could only say one thing you just got to have that's vital to your being sane, what is it? Let us know.
So we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on this Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. If you got any questions, comments, or anything that you want us to respond to based on this episode, put it in the chat.
Watch our long videos.
Please.
Please watch our long videos.
And if you think somebody else can benefit from the videos that we've been sharing and showing, or share with them.
Yeah.
Give us a thumbs up. That's the credential that YouTube uses to say, hey, we're going to forward this to other people who are looking for things. If people are looking for relationship stuff, would you rather them have people's opinion? Or, believe it or not, y'all, we just did a devotional off of Proverbs 31. So, or would you rather them have biblical content that can be beneficial to their relationship?
Let us know. Put it in the chat. Let us know. What would you prefer?
So,
I mean, I know some people, entertainment is important, and we are somewhat entertaining. But we can't dance and we can't sing, but we can share with you the things that we have learned and that we live
and we practice.
And just to give some context around what does it look like to have a healthy, thriving marriage, and what do you have to do? And so when we say work on your relationships, the person you got to work on is yourself. And so many times we blame marriage and we blame the 5 men we've been married to or the 7 women we've been married to.
Or dating or hanging out with.
It's a common denominator. And so come up with some ways for you to live your life with fewer regrets. And a part of that is having values and standards and guidelines that you are adhering to and that you're living your life by. So
remember, guys, we are stronger together.
And you're more than enough. And we love you. If you have questions, send them to help@richrelationshiprefuge.com. The curriculum is out. It's at Barnes & Noble. We have some more Barnes & Noble book signings.
Come and hang out with us.
Come meet us, and we're going to be I'll share the post of where we're going to be.
All right, y'all.
So we love you guys, and thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Thank you for commenting and for sharing and for sharing this. We love you guys.
See y'all.
See you guys next Saturday at 12 noon, Central Standard Time. Unless Jesus comes, then we'll